Hello and welcome back to Trails into Reverie. I was quite hoping, because I realized that I never went, like, I was sort of shepherded through the administrative district and then proceeded to, like, basically never actually, like, look around it and never thought about that again once I was like, oh, the story was telling me to move on. I realized that when editing the previous thing, and it was like, shit. And I was hoping when I loaded it again, it would be like, you'll let me do that? No! But okay. I will continue on my normal stuff of I'm on Rufus, so let's go to Lloyd, and then we'll do Reen, and then we'll do all that fun stuff. And then we'll eventually get access to the Reverie corridor again, and hopefully get just like a good stopping place to just focus on that for a little itty bitty bit.
Oh, there it is!
Yeah, been a while since we've been in this area. Basically on the other side of the city.
We should be safe to dock. I don't see any signs of the Ebon Defense Force.
Then we're good to go.
Try land. Yeah, I didn't realize that would take so long. I guess we split up more again. Man, imagine when we'll get, like, people. I didn't realize that takes so long. The EDF doesn't seem to be all that interested in surveillance outside the city, which is interesting. Because it's definitely a weak place for them to actually hit. For, like, enemies to, like, do subterfuge. You think they'd care more about that? I wonder if there's something very specific about the city that they're trying to do. I know the city was, like, in the middle of some, like, old magical stuff that was set up as part of the Crossspell arc. I wonder if that might be part of it? Maybe. Then again, I think even that, like, the tree wasn't in the city. I'm trying to remember. Shit, there's so many random details that might be relevant, but probably aren't, that I'm trying to remember. Rufus must be feeling pretty cocky, if you ask me. I thought they might retaliate against our Morka after the last run-in, but that never happened either. I don't know how to feel about that. It's like he doesn't even see us as a threat. But I guess we shouldn't look at a gift horse in the mouth. That overconfidence will be his undoing. Isn't that right, Kia? Yup, he won't know what hit him. But I am still kind of worried about Riksha. Yeah, so am I. What do you mean I'm losing my dodge tank? She's not with us.
I'm so sorry. I just don't know what came over me. How could I ever think of betraying you like that?
It's okay, San-san. You can't keep blaming yourself. If anything, I should have known something more was wrong. I'm a terrible friend for not realizing that you were struggling so badly or being manipulated. And Elia means the world to me. I should have been able to tell something was amiss.
Risha.
Thank you all for coming to our aid. I don't know what we would have done if you hadn't shown up when you did. Really, thanks.
Don't mention it. Glad we could make it in time. The one you should be thanking is Zeit. We were looking into what the EDF was up to when he told us that you were in danger.
Did he now? Still, it's not like you to be modest, Wazi. We really do appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for rescuing us, Sight. You were a hero back there. And I've been way overdue for one of these.
That you have. My apologies for not returning after the operation.
Okay, this feels weird. Like, I know he talked, but this feels weird.
You're so flaky, Sight. Do you realize how long it's been? Tio and I have been waiting for you to show up again all this time, you know?
Feels like that might be a meta commentary.
My apologies. As a holy beast, there are limits to how much I can interfere.
Does that include, like, informing us on how the world works? And
I am astounded at just how much you all have grown. The children of man truly do grow apace.
We'll take your word for it. It would be nice to think I've grown a little, yeah.
height-wise, or...
I'm just overjoyed to see you again. You were sorely missed, Zeit.
Yes, it's good to be back.
I've read plenty about the holy beasts in the scriptures. Funny to think I would be in the presence of one of them so soon after returning to the church. You should have seen the Congregation for Divine Worship's faces when we first reported to them about Zeit. Can you blame them for losing their shit? Ever heard of a holy beast moonlighting as a police dog? Well, I guess he can do whatever he wants for the most part. Sounds like his contract doesn't apply anymore. I don't think Zeit is nearly as weird as hearing you guys talk about church stuff, Vald. Yeah, it was Vald. I was trying to remember his name last time. Yeah, I'm still wrapping my head around it. Yeah, you'd better get used to it. Alright, enough of the funny talk. You folks ready to get down to business? Based on the info they found, it sounds like you guys already know where you're headed. Yeah, the Rhineford Military Factory to the west. You said the Ebon Defense Force has been frequenting it as of the last few days, right? Sure have. That's most likely where the Zalber soldouts are being manufactured. It would make sense. So we might pick up Elisa to go with us, maybe? You know, with the pure amount of, like, Class 7 and green route sort of characters, it would make sense to just take some of those characters and give them to Crossbell and give them to Seize route and all that sort of stuff, right? I've been wondering how they're able to bring in so many into Crossbell's borders without anyone noticing. I don't think the Imperial government or the Rhineford group would have ever allowed so many to be smuggled. Right. So if we considered that they were being manufactured from within Crossbell the entire time, then the doubts points to the mysterious factory that the EDF is connected to. That was one of the places where Sorges and Melgius were being manufactured before the war. Everyone was convinced the Black Workshop stack was gone for good, though. I don't know how Alberain and his men got their hands on it. And worse, it looks like they've made some improvements, too. I think Ouroboros in general would just have all that information in order to replicate it. I don't know how, like, proprietary that was. Nope, man, we got a patent on those that tech. Come on, Ouroboros, you can't use it. We'll likely be crossing paths with those soldats from here on out, so that's bad news. That mask Illy was wearing also looked like workshop tech too. Okay, yeah, I can agree with that. Also, she wasn't, thinking about it, she wasn't acting like Angelica was. Wasn't Angelica basically literally like she was being controlled and she had no personality? Did Crow have a personality when he was being controlled by the mask? I'm trying to remember. Because Ilya, in that, like, really sped up thing, she, like, laughed and she had, like, a very distinct personality. It is reminiscent, for sure. Yes. And now they're using it to alter her personality, if not outright control her. I will say this, and I don't know how heavy it's going to go in this direction. But, consider the... So this is just a thought that I've had, and I don't know if they're going to lean into it even more. The more they talk about this, I feel like this might be actually the case. Where, so Reen has, like, the whole, like, missing Prince Oliver story, right? In a sense, that feels like a big part of his story. A big part of, like, what's going on with him. And it's like, I think I mentioned before, it's like, oh, yeah, Reen's getting the, like, the mystery story to, like, look into. That I was sort of, like, saying, like, oh, it would be fun if the Crossbell group could, like, go back and do that again. And then here, we have a lot of, like, curse-type stuff. The Black Workshop-type stuff. It almost feels like, from a pure narrative point of view, what they decided to do was give Crossbell a Erebonia type story and give Reen a Crossbell type story. And basically just flip-flop them so they can, like, explore these, like, different stories with different characters and be like, oh, if we're gonna, like, approach these characters again, let's like, flip their scenarios. And, just, like, play with that dynamic. It sort of feels like that's what they're doing. Obviously, time will tell. But it's very interesting that there's so much of, like, the Black Workshop and all the sort of, like, Erebonia-type tropes that are playing up here, but don't feel like they've really played up too much in the Erebonian side of things, right? I'd like to ask the Thors graduates what they know about how those masks work. That could be a good idea. But let's make our top priority searching the factory and finding information on the soldats. Something tells me we'll be able to fill in a few blanks on what's going on here and why Rufus Alberea is staging this occupation. Unfortunately, getting there is going to be easier said than done. The factory's to the west of Crossbell City. Oh, yeah, that's north of it. Interesting. And we were coming in towards way to the south. What are our plans to get there? Factory's to the west of Crossbell City while we're in the northeast. Anyone know how to get to the west of the city? To the west of the west side of the state from here is through the city. Well, there's a bunch of rivers you could have taken. What's that? Is that the... Because I think because there's Rhineford and then you have Mainz up there. I think one of those really northern ones on the west side is Rosenberg. The other one is the church, probably? I think probably. In terms of, like, there's like a whole river you could technically take. That feels like that would be a much... Like, if you have a boat, like, you're basically, like, mapping out a route. Though I would also say, like, there's probably a decent chance they should be, you know, guarding that. Yeah, and that's not exactly an option with the EDF crawling all over the place. I'm guessing we can't just hitch a ride on your Merkaba either, huh? I wish. We brought it with us, and it should be safe with the other squires guarding it. But they're using more advanced anti-air radar than the CDF was back in the day. You even see through active camouflage, and they've got them set up at all key locations, so flying is a no-go. Shocking how well equipped they are. What the hell? Even the Imperial Army doesn't have toys that good. I guess that's where the Black Workshop factor comes into play again. In that case, I think the smart play is to make our way to St. Ursula. How are we going to reach St. Ursula from here? It just so happens I got my hands on an orbital boat just before things hit the fan. We should be able to use it to cross Lake Elm and reach St. Ursula on the other side. And then from there, what, go through the city again? We'd be able to... We'd still be a ways away from reaching the factory from there, but not seeing any other better options. Yeah, let's take what we can get. That's a lot closer to the military factory than we are now. And we can find a route to it from there. We'll go with this then. Thanks for the idea, Lecter. Your course is set, then. I will leave this land's crisis in your hands for the time being. Oh, okay, you're gonna show up and ditch. Okay, got it. They did all this to reintroduce him. He's not even gonna be a party member. Oh, does that mean you're gonna leave us again? I'm afraid so. There's something else I wish to take care of. Interesting. But fear not, I too am part of the SSS, so it's only a matter of time before we meet again and I become like an actual party member again. We'll hold you to that. Take care, Zite. Yeah, I'll miss you, but let's see each other again soon. Yes, that we shall. Actually, I was thinking of staying here. I would help look after my grandfather, and if the EDF does come to the village, I'll take responsibility and negotiate. We could have used your support, but you do make a good point. I'm worried about how things are at the hospital, so I'm tempted to come with. That said, I think my services are needed more here at the moment. At the very least, I want Speaker McDowell to make a full recovery first. Thank you, Cecil. I really appreciate that. I was also leaning towards staying here and hitting up my connections. Besides, a large group isn't going to be able to sneak into the factory. And that's if we even manage to fit us all on the boat. Makes sense for some of us to stay behind and protect the village as we gather info.
In that case, I'd like to stay here as well.
Are you sure, Risha?
That makes sense. You evaded her attack for the most part. But weren't you still injured?
Yes. Please forgive me, everyone. I just need a little time. I'm still not ready to face up to what happened to Ili and Sansan just yet.
And that's perfectly fine. If that's your decision, then we respect it.
That's right. I'm sure you'll be able to find your way forward. And I'll be happy to have your help here in the meantime.
I'd be happy to help.
A lot of people are staying here, so that means I have to go with Lloyd. Where's this coming from, Kia? This is gonna be a dangerous mission. You understand that, don't you? Of course, the factory's really far away, and there's no telling what's going to be there waiting for us. That's why I want to help gather info for us, so I can back you up with my order like I always do. And it makes a lot more sense for me to go than it does to stay here, if you ask me. Well, I give her some credit. She makes a good point. And I'll be tagging along too. That should make the operation a lot safer overall. My stigma should prove useful in a pinch. I don't think it would be too dangerous for her. Alright. I should be glad that there are 2 other people willing to go, so I'd be happy to have you both. Counting you, Ozzy. You too, Kia. Well, I'm glad to see you take your own advice when it comes to us trusting her a little more. Make sure to back up Lloyd with everything you've got, Kia. You bet I will. Well then, your odds of success are rising by the minute, aren't they? Well, they sort of, plunged off a cliff after, 5 people was like, I don't want to go. So a little bit higher is probably better. May you all ever keep your chins up and your eyes facing forward. Sounds overly optimistic to me. Leaving in the future easily beats standing still. Sign me up for the sunshine you're bumping. Seriously though, you should give some thought to what your old cellmate said after our fight yesterday too. It might help you sort things out. Call it a hunch. Good luck with your little factory tour, Bannings. May the goddess be with you. Okay, what were the words he used? It really was legitimately difficult to parse through all that with everything going on.
We'll cut things short for today. Enjoy your freedom while you can and have fun struggling against the inevitable.
That is interesting. So he's taking it. So okay, so he's presumably that means he's taking it because he's been convinced that it's not like you can actually stop it. So it's fuck, get in while the going's good, and get my cut while that's an option.
You're helpless to stop us now that you've lost your way.
That's interesting. Lost our way. What was that supposed to mean? Yeah, that is a very vague statement. Was he referring to the loss we suffered to Rufus back at the signing ceremony? Or something even before then? I don't think we need to worry about our markup with Wald and Scarlet staying there. Let's just focus on what we need to do here. Exactly, we gotta do our part while everyone else is working to help us. You got me there. Illusion shattered. Whose illusions? Our illusions? They're not delusions either. Whose illusions are we gonna shatter? Rufus's? The Supreme Leaders. Our first goal is finding a route to the factory. We can start by seeing how things are here and hopefully gathering some information. I'm willing to bet a lot of people are here from the city fled here too. Might come across a familiar face or 2 among them. Oh yeah, maybe. 2 party members does feel like a really small amount at the moment. Alright, let's get going. Whoa! When traveling with the party. She not take part in combat directly, but she can support the party with orders. Why? I want it. You can view and change which characters are assigned to the parties. Tag along slot from the party select screen. Yes, I know. I've done that before.
I bet we could fish here.
Yeah, that is the wrong priority at the moment, for sure. How good is her? It's 5 for C. I mean, it's not bad, but it also is 5, and this is like really good, even if it's 6. Like if I get like a BP, like if I get like it's 12 fucking turns, CP plus 80, and if I get like a free order turn, fuck that. Like I can't use it now technically, but still, I still feel like that's really good. Actually, just a thought. Okay, so I can only use Kia on this. I mean, I can just switch it over whenever I get to that point, but eventually I really probably, especially if we're going to be like switching groups, I really should probably make sure I have enough good ones to have as tag-alongs. Can't believe you came here by boat, of all things. Don't worry, the EDF hasn't shown their faces since the occupation, but we can't rule out that they'll come eventually. Everyone's a little on edge. So they stopped by here recently. Or like a little bit after everything went down. Okay. That makes sense. This is not the route I was intending to take, but I see who I'm going to meet up with later. They say I'll get to leave the hospital soon because of all the rehab I've done. My hands are still kind of numb, but I can even hold a pen now. It's all thanks to surgery I had with Dr. Silent. Lynn promised me that she'd take me to the radio station and leaves when I finally get discharged. And once my hands are fixed, I want to start practicing the piano again. Yeah, I was about to say, is this the girl that was like, hurt her hands and like was like a really good piano player beforehand? That's why everything in the city needs to get better. Oh, that's great. Yeah, those sorts of things are difficult to come back from, but good for you putting in all that hard work to make it an option.
You know, I was expecting everyone here to be more despondent.
It's good they're in high spirits.
Now where to find?
Where to find? It's not like Cecil's here. Either way, this is clearly where we're supposed to go. Okay. Thank you for all your help. We don't have much to offer in return, but here's some snacks. I hope you'll enjoy them.
You didn't have to do that, but the gesture is still appreciated.
Yeah, I've never fixed medical equipment before, so I didn't want to get anyone's hopes up.
You could have had me fooled with such fine work. You both did splendidly.
That's right. I don't know what we would have done without you. We wouldn't have escaped if it weren't for you. We'd likely be brainwashed by the Supreme Leader like all the others. Just what happened to all of them?
I believe I owe you an apology. A big one. None of this would have happened had we protected everyone at the signing ceremony like we swore to. If only we'd been stronger.
Hey, come on, Tio.
Oh, Tio.
No, this isn't your fault. That's alright, no one's blaming you for what happened. Looking back, I don't know what more you could have been expected to do.
Look, Lloyd, it's Tio.
I thought she might come here. Thank goodness she's alright. It looks like they're talking to evacuees from the city.
Hold on just a minute.
Yeah, things were doomed from the start. Finally dawned on me, too. I don't know why we ever thought we could be truly independent. It's hopeless.
Huh?
What's gotten into you guys all of a sudden?
Oh, no. It's obvious, isn't it? The Supreme Leader would have occupied us again if we just obeyed the Empire like we used to. We wouldn't have to be afraid of the EDF had we not dreamed of independence. When you think about it, everything was better when we were an Imperial province. Even the economy was booming. Why give all of that up? Why did we ever want to be independent?
Hey! Get a hold of yourselves! What is wrong with all of you?
There really isn't any need to be so pessimistic.
I will note, it's weird because it's not exactly like they're saying anything completely unreasonable. Like, clearly biased in a way, but like, they're not saying anything that's like, ooh, what? That's crazy. The Supreme Leader and EDF aren't all we have to worry about either. It's also those huge machines. They even have the old president's backing. Everyone in the city is enthralled by them. There isn't a shred of hope things are going to get better anymore.
No, that's not true at all. The SSS is going to keep fighting. We have allies we can depend on. The CPD, CGF, and even our friends from outside Crossbell. There are people who will surely help us. We won't allow you to suffer like this. We'll be the ones to put an end to it.
Tio.
Tio, you shouldn't...
We used to have hope too, thanks to you. Or at least we thought we did. Whether it was the Mafia or that cult, or even when our own mayor became a dictator, we kept on believing. Not even Imperial occupation or the war made us lose hope. But in the end, it was all for nothing. The signing ceremony made us realize that. What we had was never hope to begin with. It was just illusion. And that made it even more painful once we accepted the truth. Again and again and again and again. Over and over and over and over.
We were never hope to them?
That can't be true. We can't just give up and...
Stop. Please, just stop. Can't you see we're just so tired of all this? Besides, you've got no right to talk to us about ending our suffering. You hadn't arrested President Croix. Then we would have already had everything we ever wanted.
Everything we did was...
Can you all hear yourselves? You're completely full of it.
Aren't you?
Lloyd, Kia, Wazzy.
Hey, you guys are all right.
I was one of the people involved in that arrest, so let me make something perfectly clear. Letting Dieter Croix go free for what he did over 2 years ago was never an option. He attacked the city, had the speaker detained, and even tried to take over the entire continent. Dieter was arrested in accordance with state law. The same as any Crossbellan would have been. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, but what about Crossbell? They had a responsibility to do what was best for us.
A responsibility? And why's that? Because you made them your symbols of justice? Because you decided they were your heroes? The SSS is just a division of the Crossbell Police Department. Nothing more, nothing less. You have no one to blame but yourselves for thinking any different. Their purpose isn't to make all of your problems go away.
No one thought...
I know it's been a long 2 years. 2 years where all Crossbellans could do was powerlessly watch the Empire trample over their pride. It's natural to wish that a savior would appear and solve everyone's problems. But personally, I never wanted to see Crossbell come to that. What Crossbell has given me is irreplaceable. Friends and family that mean the world to me, like Lloyd and Vald. So it pains me to see this as someone who's come to love Crossbell more than his old home.
Wazzy.
The SSS chose the path they did because they wanted a little girl to be free. But that same little girl couldn't help but feel it was her fault when she saw Erebonia invade and take over her home. Because she knew that none of it would have happened if she didn't exist. Kia, no. But she wasn't the only reason they chose the path that they did. The SSS had also seen how strong Crossbell became, facing adversity over and over again. They knew that if they chose any other path, the efforts and sacrifices of so many would be lost. Their home would never be the same. And they, along with that little girl, believed from the bottom of their hearts that all of Crossbell would overcome it for the better.
She's right. That was what we decided.
I want to answer the trust they placed in me however I can. I was all alone once, somewhere very dark. It's because of everyone around me that I have so much to be thankful for. The SSS and the people of Crossbell made me into the person I am today. So now I want to fight to help them. That means I'm here to pave a path forward for all of you too. And on it, I just know we'll see brighter days, because it was Crossbell and its people that taught me the strength to persevere.
A path forward. Maybe she's right. It could be too soon to be giving up hope. It's true that we've been through a lot of hard times before, but those experiences are what made us who we are today. Yes, you're right. That's part of what makes Crossbell what it is. Maybe we are stronger than we give ourselves credit for.
Look!
It's disappearing.
That is interesting. Lost your way. I wonder if that ties into that effect that we see. It looks like we're the ones who should be apologizing after all. That was no way to talk about people who've done so much for us. Not after you put so much on the line to protect Crossbell. Yes, and somewhere along the line, we started taking that for granted. I still don't know exactly what exactly I can do to make a difference. The least I can do is look for a way to move forward, just like you all have. That's right, we have to hold out hope.
Thank you, everyone.
Anyway, we should be grateful that you all made it out of the city safely. I hope that you keep up the good fight, SSS. We'll keep cheering you on.
We have to keep doing what we always have. That's to keep moving forward. One step at a time. Though we're not naive enough to believe that will be enough to take back what we lost. It's going to take the help of everyone who calls Crossbell home. So do me a favor and think about how you can help. What you would give to be free. And I promise the SSS will support you just as much as you've always supported us.
Bid farewell to citizens, left the rooms back inside, and nurse agrees to let them use the nurse's station as a dog and decide what to do next. Okay, so this is, it's an interesting thought. Lose their way, so let's go on the obvious, let's connect a dot and see where it goes. Let's say lose your way is literally the same as that. Let's remember, they never had anything resembling the dancer happen to them in that moment, right? The dancer seems to be able to employ some effect on people. Force it to go in a direction, perhaps. But they very clearly just got pessimistic and lost hope for independence. And then suddenly the aura was around them. I wonder if it's like a resonance concept. Where it's like, let's take that same thought I had from before, the sort of like, well, what if like alternative versions of them from like a different plane, whether it's demon or otherwise, he's like, they're like just they're like getting closer to existing as like, the closer they are to being that person as well, the closer they are, the more they resonate with each other, and the more that aura comes about, and the more they sort of like fuse. In the same way that like, Ren mentioned that it was like a cumulative effect, right? So it's just, it isn't that they are being brainwashed, it's that they're just being made to get closer to another version of themselves, and that version of themselves is like seeping into them in some capacity. Sorry, just, and like literally lost your way. If it just becomes a matter of like everyone moves over to this point and everyone like literally lose your way, as in you lose your way and become the versions. Because if the inevitability of that is that you lost your way in some form, and that is the key point, right? How else could it be other than what we just saw there, right? The idea of being pessimistic and losing out hope for independence and that sort of stuff. How does lose your way refer to anything other than that, especially when we see it directly bring upon the effect in question, right? I'm not sure how else you could like interpret that at this point. Oh.
Tio. Sorry I kept you waiting again. I'm glad you're okay.
Do you hear yourself? I'm the one breathing a sigh of relief.
Oh, don't compete on that.
Your injuries seemed so severe. And then we were all separated.
So that's what this is all about. I can't imagine how tough it's been for you three being kept in the dark.
Well, well, thank Rickshaw for that, right?
Thanks for worrying about me. I know it couldn't have been easy.
She had that special medicine after all, right?
It never is. You're always so reckless. But I knew you'd come looking for me again. Lloyd, I'm so glad you found me.
Wasn't gonna stop till I did.
Aww.
Would you listen to them go on and on?
Yona's just there like, man, I want to get head patted too. I'm at a good head patting height as well.
I'm so happy for you, Tio.
Would you knock it off with the crying already?
Oh boy. So you're headed for the Rhineford military factory to the west. I had a feeling that might be it. You did? So that must be what you three have been doing here then. Precisely. The Chief, Yona, and I have been looking into some suspicious information surrounding the factory. Not to mention I spotted a certain sketchy professor amidst the chaos of everyone fleeing the city. Oh, did you? You mean that slime ball that supported the illegitimate regime from 3 years ago? Ouroboros' 6th Anguis. Oh, he's the 6th. I didn't realize that. Yeah, I look just like that, by the way. Just the glasses. Professor F. Novardis, the head of the 13 factories. I had a feeling the society was involved. Specialty is applied sciences, right? What the fuck is that? That's such a vague specialty. He's the one in charge of all their crazy powerful tech. Yes, in addition to being the engineer who completed the first generation ions. His involvement could explain the new Zolver sold-out model and that strange mask. That's why we've had our attention placed on the military factory. Good thinking. It's looking more and more likely that we'll uncover something to help our investigation there. Have you three found an infiltration route? It just so happens we have. Yona and I looked into it. There's a cargo line while the factory is still under construction before the war. It leads directly to the underground railway that connects to St. Ursula. Oh, perfect. Oh, that's convenient. Almost too good to be true. But I trust it if Tio's the source. Like, I was expecting us to go out to, like, where we, like the old, field camp train place. I was expecting that to be our destination, but if we're gonna, like, just head out from here right away, we should head there right away then. There's no time to waste. The sooner we uncover what's really happening, the better. Yes, and the church isn't going to look the other way if it turns out the society's the one orchestrating this incident. There's no telling the extent of that Alberea fellow's plans, but it's high time we shed some light on what's really going on. I'm sure we'll get to the bottom of it if we all work together. Just try not to get caught, will ya? Don't let all that hard work we did go to waste. Don't worry, we'll be careful. And thanks, Yona. Really owe you one for helping Tio out. To save it, Bannings. Not like I did that much. I mean, you could give me a head pat as a reward, but you know. Still, I guess it's good to see you back on your feet. You're the same obnoxious brat you ever were, huh? But that's part of Yona's charm. Knock it off already.
Well then, we'll leave investigating that factory up to the four of you. You and I will continue gathering as much info here as we can. You can reach the underground railway platform from the first floor lobby.
Got it, thanks. Interesting, because, like, I remember that being there, but we were never able to, like, do anything with it. It's finally relevant. We'll be going now, Chief. Look after yourself.
Same to you, Tio.
Gotcha. Oh, fantastic. That's a story improvement. That's interesting. How did we get Burning Heart in the first place? Does anyone remember? That's a very interesting development. The capital, look for what's going on the Supreme Leader. Okay. Sideline is unaccounted for as well. She's supposed to attend an academic conference in Remaferia. You're also acquainted with her, yes. I don't know if it's anything to do with the EDF, but I can't help but suspect it. Might help to keep in mind as you're out scouting around. Well, she's out of country. Yeah, she's like the good doctor that like came here and helped a bunch of people. I remember her. She was nice.
You can get to the underground station through the lobby.
Oh, I spot the door. Be you there?
Oh, no. Can you do it? Can you do it? Get there first? Get there first? Come on, come on, come on. Probably save first, because if we're going there, I don't know if it's seeming like a dungeon right away. This is my first time seeing the new subway line they built. It's a little eerie how deathly silent it is down here. Yeah, the trains were stopped after the city was occupied, right? This goes through the city, I imagine, right? Yes, we don't need to worry about the tracks being active. So we're gonna walk on the tracks? We should eventually reach where the freight and passenger line split if we follow the line to the north. Let's make that our first destination. Walking on train lines like this always makes my heart race. Yeah, don't get electrified. Definitely. We've had to do this more than a few times over the past couple of years. Have you? Alright, let's get going. I guess being in hiding, had to find ways to get around. I guess we're getting a little bit of a hint of like what they were like actually doing during a lot of that. Either way, into the dark. Ooh.
Yeah.
Feels like it's hard to justify fighting a bunch of enemies here until we get one more person, so we can do... Actually, never mind. I was wondering if we could do United Front because we have a... But no, it probably depends who's tag along. It wouldn't be Kia and Alphen contribute to it. Probably not. We made it to the junction. If we keep going straight, we eventually reach the city. Yeah, but I seriously doubt the EDF doesn't have that direction heavily guarded. I wouldn't risk it. Yep, no reason to rush it. I'm sure we'll make it back to the city eventually. Yeah, it's only a matter of time before we gather our friends and teach that so-called Supreme Leader a lesson. No one stands between us and our home and gets away with it. Yeah, that's the spirit.
So Kia, Wazi, a little late, but I've been meaning to thank you for earlier.
For what?
Whatever is it for this time?
Don't play dumb. I'm talking about how you chimed in at the hospital. You helped me realize something important. The citizens of Crossbell weren't the only ones who had lost sight of the truth. We had too. The SSS had a clear dream 2 years ago, when Crossbell was annexed by Erebonia. We wanted our home to be free again. But it wasn't just that. We weren't blind patriots, fighting to protect personal pride or acting on some grand ideal. Had we been, our actions wouldn't have led to Crossbell losing its freedom. Wouldn't have led it straight into the arms of the Empire. And the little girl we protected, over giving Crossbell its freedom and future, wouldn't be here supporting us. What we truly wanted, for her and for every citizen who would have to bear the burden of our choices, was for them to smile. And if we could give them their home as well, then they could be free and smile as much as they dreamed. It really was that simple.
Lloyd.
It's true. That's how I felt. And I'm sure Ellie and Randy would say the same. But sadly, I agree. Somewhere along the line, we lost sight of that goal. The more expectations people placed on us, the more we became convinced we were obligated to win back the state's freedom.
That soon turned into wanting to be seen as the very symbols of independence, to be seen as heroes to our home. All the while, we were turning our eyes away from the feelings of despair and distrust that the people had been harboring. Those feelings were probably what allowed Rufus's words to worm their way into the citizens' hearts. But regardless, we aren't going to lose our way again. We'll keep sight of our goal this time and do things our way. We're not miracle workers. We'll just do our best to make people's lives better, while others help us as much as we help them. That's what's allowed us to come this far.
Good. That sounds more like the SSS I fell in love with. And if you ask me, that's what it's going to take if you want to make it through this ordeal too. Every crisis you've overcome to date has been with the help of countless others, and this will be no different.
I think what Wazi means to say is every crisis we've overcome, because we're all one big family at the end of the day. That's why I decided to become Kia Bannings.
This is a chance for us to start over from zero, then.
That's right. We're going to reclaim everything that was taken from us. And as always, we're going to fight, struggle, and shine the light on the truth. Together.
Huh? What was that?
I heard it too.
Uh-oh.
That sounds like...
It's gunfire.
And not just gunfire either.
Coming.
Look up ahead.
Oh, okay.
Stop where you are, rebels! Surrender now, or there will be no mercy!
Oh, I guess they were targeting it.
You holding up all right,
I guess they were targeting Tita.
I'm fine. But at this rate... Get down, you two!
Ugh. There's more of them. Where did you guys come from?
The SSS? What are all of you doing down here?
We can explain later. Let's focus on taking care of these guys first.
Okay. Okay, that's promising.
The SSS, huh? It must be our lucky day.
Our Helmut will punish all who dare to oppose the Supreme Leader!
That must be the name of this new model.
This is the last place I want to fight a Zalbur soldat. Nevertheless...
Exactly. Now's not the time to falter. Everyone, prepare for battle!
I'll back you up with my orders.
Got
okay.
Technically, Alphen will. Oh no.
Watch out!
That's not a good
This
start.
one's tough!
That's not a good start. That's not a good start.
Damn you!
It's my turn.
Cast time down can be very useful. It's difficult for me to justify that hard, though, to do those. More on the basis of... not, like... in my mind of how I, like, sort of see the flow of battle. So, basically, I'm commenting based on the basis of, hey, there are people saying, hey, you know, C's group is, like, really art-focused. You're not using arts as much as you should. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's probably fair. They clearly designed them, and especially with the limited options, they probably almost definitely designed them around that explicitly. Oh, hey, look, I have both of theirs. Look how that works. I wonder if the United Front will have 7 people because of that. Interesting. I do technically just have both of theirs. What was I going to say? So the thing about arts is, like, it can use up EP really quickly too. That's part of, like, the tricky elements of it. Where the arts use up EP really quickly, and, like, doing a bunch of arts feels like in a short amount of time can also, like, if that's your strategy, it feels like you can burn that through before you get through, like, the health of a nightmare level health boss, that sort of thing. So I tend not to rely on it as much as maybe I should. What was his 200%? So that's probably better to... yeah, sure.
Give them hell! Crimson Break!
Right.
Burning Heart 2, Cures ailments, HP Absorber. HP Absorber. 2 terms, restores 1 being interesting. This is getting really small text there. Will they kill Tio? They might. If I do this.
All for one! And one for all!
No.
Everyone, move in!
No, it didn't. It didn't use her, even though her thing's still technically available.
Hope you're ready.
Oh, he was so far back.
All right.
Damn. Whoops. definitely wanted the health up.
Let's finish this. This is it.
Oh, sorry, not the health up, the strength up. Oh, our things are so far apart.
Okay, here I go! Take this and this! Orbital compression at 40%, 80%. Gotta keep it going.
Is that new art? I think that might be new art for her.
20%! Omega Impulse! Fire!
I think that might be new S-Scrap art for her. I don't remember her having one in the thing about before.
You!
So yeah, everyone's gonna die? Yeah. That was always the risk.
Sapphire's seal of mine shining from the abyss.
Yeah, I really just wanted to get the ads out of the way. More than anything.
I need to do something.
And that's the other thing about all of this that probably is pretty relevant, like for arts, is that when I use arts, I tend to like to use them with like orders.
There.
Like.
Thank you so much.
I like using them with orders in the sense that I like I like setting up like a high turn order count and letting the enemy use up their turns as I like set up arts and having stuff like Absolute Reflect just like walloping it as I set up my own sort of stuff.
I need to do something.
Okay.
Now that the threat's been neutralized, let's go.
My first battle with this group, I feel like that I started to get a better feel for how I needed to fight with them by the end there. Because I definitely set up Wazi as a bit of a CP, like an art using CP battery, because I did set him up beforehand. I probably should have used some damage down stuff early on as I was, instead of needing to like use some items to get people back up, because I was sort of going, oh, probably overly aggressive at the beginning.
Nice! I did!
This can't be happening. How did that glorified forklift manage to overcome the latest Zauber Zelda?
Yes, that's definitely the difference. That's definitely the difference.
We must report this to the Supreme Leader at once.
Managed to take it down. I didn't doubt that we would. Good work, everyone. She's just like not even panting a little. Yay! I thought we were goners that they were when they were chasing us back there.
Yeah, we owe you guys one. Thanks for saving our bacon. Turns out we could have taken out that sold-out thing without you. Don't mention it.
I'm glad we could count on Tita and her orbital gear too.
Here's hoping it'll be smooth sailing from here.
Look at the awesome team we're assembling. I'm sure everything will work out at this rate.
Yeah, you guys look like you're in good spirits.
So glad you're all right. So, what are the two of you doing down here in the first place, Tita? You came running from the direction of the city. Well, the thing is, I mean, it's been days, hasn't it?
Maybe it's fate we ran into you guys now of all times. You haven't seen Erica around, have you?
Professor Russell? No, has something happened to her? We were in the IBC building when the city was occupied. A bunch of the black uniformed soldiers stormed into the building and demanded that my mom go with them.
The next thing you know, she was shoving us in an elevator leading underground.
Oh, Mom, what's gotten into you?
Are you freaking kidding me? I can handle this, so let me...
Does your dumb, thick skull have eyes? You saw how many there are, and they have that new model with them. I have a different request for you, Agate Crossner. Protect Tita, even if it costs you your life. Do I make myself clear?
Damn it, Erica!
Mom!
So, that's what happened. I'm not surprised Professor Russell put your safety first, although... Yeah, she's as stubborn as a mule. It's my fault she did that. I never should have allowed us to end up in this situation to begin with. It's on me. You don't have to blame yourself, Agate. I guess that means Estelle and Joshua haven't been with you guys, huh? Right, they were in the city. Oh, okay. We're gonna have a lot of... I'm afraid not. We haven't been able to get in touch with them since the city was occupied. Something must be jamming communications. I hope they're alright. Estelle and Joshua are both seasoned bracers. I'll trust they'll be alright. I'm more worried about your mother. I don't doubt she's pretty tough for a researcher, but these are trained soldiers we're dealing with. I think it's safe to assume that she's still in the EDF's custody at least. However, that doesn't answer why they wanted your mother to begin with. We don't know either. Soldiers said something about someone needing helpers, but that's all we know. Yeah, I think we can guess as the meaning of that. We managed to access one of the underground computers after that. That's how we learned she was taken to the Rhineford military factory. I have my suspicions on who that someone could be. Which means I also have a really bad feeling about this. So do I. Only one name comes to mind based on the information we have thus far. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it, then. This is a guild request at the end of the day. The job's not done until it's reported and the client gives the reward. I'm dragging Erica out of there so I can get paid, whether she likes it or not. We'll save her for sure. It sounds like we're headed to the same place, then. Count on us for support. The more the merrier. Thanks, everyone. We'd really appreciate it. Should at least be able to lend a hand when it comes to things like information gathering and technology. Don't undersell yourself. I'm sure you'll be of great help. Not gonna lie, running into you guys was good timing. We could really use the help. No problemo. Teamwork makes the dream work, doesn't it? So, the military factory is that away, huh? Yeah, let's get moving. Awesome, United Front time. We can sort of start grinding. Also, yeah, totally gonna go back to that healing station.
Looks like we're not alone.
Tempted as I am to knock their asses farther underground. Probably not the best
Ready
idea
anytime.
right now. Let's go!
It's my go.
It's my
Hopefully
turn.
we can sneak around some other way.
Okay. Yeah, I did not see those guys, so I guess they noticed that. Okay, just saying go this other way. Take the door.
I could have done that in my sleep. Of course I'd improve.
Deadly Heaven. Okay, we're getting more like his Tiger Charge stuff. That makes sense. Makes sense. A lot of sense. And back to the freight line? Just a way around? Oh, cool.
Very nice. We made it to the other side.
Good.
If we keep going north, we'll reach the station for the military factory.
We're not out of the woods yet, so be sure not to let anyone spot you.
That's the plan. Okay, it doesn't give me multiple places to go, so... I am in where I am. Will cause the main story to advance. Hold on. Okay, I will at least heal before I do that. Because it feels like it's trying to tell me something. Very similar to another thing that happened recently. Maybe, possibly, kind of. Okay. Proceed. I assume it's going to be the same thing. That felt like... Like, I was able to return to the Reverie corridor before this, so it's... Mirror's reacting input to what? Yep. Gotta do Lloyd's, I assume. Or, so we gotta do Reen's, I assume. Okay, well... I'm probably going to do that today in terms of recording, but I did... Some people have commented that it felt like the Trails to Walk thing really sort of railroaded you, and I'm getting how that impression came about. It does very much feel like, yep, there's like 3 or 4 different like necessary stopping points in every act, and there's like 4, 5, 6 acts or whatever there's gonna end up being. So there's like so many points where you just have to just go do everything else. Which is what it is ultimately, but I get why they did it from a storytelling perspective. But it does make it feel like, through the process of playing it, less substantial than even like the illusion of choice would typically give. But it's not a bad thing to have. It just adds less than it could have because of stuff like that. Either way, I will end this episode here, and I'll see you all next time for Reen's whatchamacallit. See you then. Drive safely, everyone.